It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
Hey guys, how is it going? And welcome to the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. It is Thursday, December 28th, and so happy for you joining us. We are ready to start another day together with the Lord. So subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So today we have an exciting podcast for you. We have Sermons in the Sky, QNA Thursday, and of course commentaries, updates, and news on what is happening around the world in this history today. Now, how are you doing, everyone? I hope you guys had a really good Wednesday service last night. I just got back from camping. My voice is a little bit gone right now, but just enjoying my time back here in KL. No longer in the blazing sun outside, but I had a great time at that campsite. If you haven't yet, go ahead and leave a like and comment to build our community. Just super happy for everyone joining us every weekday on the Morning Star Drive. So let's get up and support each other each and every day. So this week's Sunday message title, A Christmas of Love and Peace. Thank you. And of course, we had a Christmas message too. But it is Thursday, guys. T-minus 3 days before the year ends. I hope you guys are enjoying the last few days of the year. And yes, it's going to be an awesome end of the year. I really believe it. Like, I'm excited that 2023 is almost ending. And I think we should all be excited because, this is the final, I got to think about this. This is going to be the final completion of the prophecy in Daniel chapter 12, verse 12. Blessed is the one that reaches the end of the 1335, which is the end of 2023. So it is exciting. So I hope that we can end our year really well, 2023. I know that a lot of people are planning some really cool events at their church too. I know one of the churches here is going to have like a white tie event. I think that's really cool to end 2023 the right way. So yeah, I just got back from camping and I'm exhausted. I got back around like 5:30 p.m. No, I got back earlier than that. I think, what time did I get back? I got home around 5:30, I think. And I went straight to bed because I was so tired. And I think I am getting a little bit sick. It's just, I'm not sure yet, but I'm a little bit exhausted. But there was like a couple people in the car that started getting sick. So I'm like a little bit nervous, like, oh, this is going to hit me too kind of thing. So, I'm just going to watch myself, get a little bit more sleep, and take some meds and see what happens here. But, man, being out in the sun all day, 29 degrees, plus it's humid, which makes it about 35. We were out in the sun all day. I think I got super tan. I think I did, because it was hot and humid, but I would have to say super enjoyable time camping. It was this mini tent city, and everyone knew each other. Great community. We're all connected. We had all the equipment and tents that we needed. I think the only thing that would make this like super glamping is if we had like air conditioning in the tents, which, I don't expect that, obviously, right? But we had all the equipment, all the tents, all the food. The food was amazing there too. And we even rented like these huge covers where people can sit down, long tables, eat together, talk together. It was just really nice. I really enjoyed it. And it was just like groups of, like, there was like maybe 5-6 families, but there's some people would be talking in one group, another people talking in another group. You could just move around and enjoy the time together. And it was a time of eating and sharing and games. Children were everywhere. I loved it, right? Besides being super hot, that wasn't even even though it was super hot, it didn't break the event. You know what I mean? It was still an amazing event. So I was very thankful to be able to take a short break for 3 days, go camping with the families and such, with all the kids. And since we had a car, when it got too hot, we took a little drive to a cafe and had some nice coffee and stuff like that too. But as I was preparing this, I went straight to a cafe, prepared it, and then went home and slept. And then now, right, it's about 11 p.m. because, I went to sleep first. But yeah, it's nice being back, back to the creature comforts. But I have to say, if they keep planning it in this way, I think this can become like a really good, like it could be like an annual or semi-annual thing where just people can get together, enjoy their time, relax. I thought it was great, and it was supposed to be raining. It rained for just like maybe an hour, 2 hours out of the whole time we were there, but overall it was great. So the only thing bad for me is, well, good for everyone else, is that mosquitoes love me. Like I right now, I'm scratching all these mosquito bites I have all over my legs and all over my arms. I have it in the weird places too. I have it on my wrist, which I don't understand why they would bite my wrist. Then I have it on like the tips of my fingers, and then of course all over my knees and stuff like that too. But yeah, like I had an interesting conversation with Daniel after we went camping. And I asked him, like, what do you think of Malaysia? And the first thing he said is, like, I could totally live in Malaysia. That's what he said. And he says, the people are great. It's easy. Its prices are a lot cheaper here and stuff. But the one thing he really enjoyed was being able to have, like, deeper conversations during the trip, regardless of age. And, what does that mean? Well, remember, he's in Korea. He's 20 years old. And he's the one going around, if it's a little bit because of the culture. So this is more about culture. In the Korean culture, if you're older, you have more say, and what you say has more weight, right? And it's very, very difficult for the younger people to speak up, right? So it's just part of the culture, right? But in Malaysia, like it's still Asian, but there's no hierarchy by age or status. It's just people talking together. Everyone's really kind. Like even sometimes I would join the conversations. He would just be talking. Everyone would be listening like genuinely. And I think that's a very good sign for a good culture too. Like this camping trip, one of the things we did every night, it was 2 nights there. We stayed up late till like past 2 a.m. because we're playing Avalon. Avalon's like this social deduction game. It's kind of like Mafia, One Night Werewolf type games. And both nights we played deep into the night. It was pretty intense. I think we played for a good, I'd say 4 hours every night. But one thing that is super interesting is that the first night I played, and then the second night, the first night I played, and then the second night I decided to be a narrator. And it's very interesting seeing it from, like, seeing the game from the inside and seeing the game from the outside. Like, what does that mean? Like, that first day, you're inside of it. You're trying to guess and try to figure out all these other different people. And, you're trying your best to do it. But one thing you can't figure out is what you look like and how you say things. It's really interesting because as a narrator, I know everyone's roles. And I see how people play when their roles change in the game. And it's really wild, right? Because when I talk to because me and Daniel were talking after, I was like, yeah, when you talk to them after, they have no idea that they're playing differently. They have no idea that they have like a different body language, different way of speaking, or responding differently. It's super interesting. And it reminds me of how much we really don't see ourselves, right? And how much we really need like trusting people around us to hold us accountable to our actions and our words. Because there's a lot of times, like when you're in the heat of the moment and you become a little bit more emotional, you don't realize how strong or maybe how harsh your words may be. And you may think that everything is normal, but people are actually hurt. Like there's this one time I was head leading in New York, and I was doing an open Bible study for newcomers at church, and I was asking questions, and the newcomer said something, I responded to it, and it just went on, right? But someone at the end of the Bible study came to me and says, hey, Pastor Sky, I think you responded a little bit too harshly. I was like, oh, really? Like I didn't know it. But someone came to me after and told me about it, and right away I apologized to the newcomer. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't think that I was, speaking in this way. But it was so interesting because I didn't think I was being that harsh in my words, but it came out that way. And because my intentions and my heart wasn't thinking that way, I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong. So, when I thought about this, like, man, it's really important. We have close, trusting people around us that can tell us, that we can trust, that they're going to tell us honestly and hold us accountable to our words and our actions. I think this is something that we should think about as a very important person we need in our life. Because if it's just us and God, you might find out way too late that you spoke in a certain way because, think about it. Like, you didn't know it, and you're praying to God, and the only way God shows you a sign is when people are angry and upset at you. And you're going to have to find out way later when it's already, like, the damage has been done too much, right? So I looked at that, I was like, yeah, we really need trusting people around us that can help us with the things that we say and the actions that we take. So that was something kind of interesting I was watching when I was playing Avalon. Also, another good friend of mine texted me about what the greatest blessing in 2023 was, and I thought it was very interesting. And they said it was the ability to never give up on the Lord, no matter how difficult it got. Now, I thought about this, and it really made sense to me that, sometimes a blessing isn't something that we get, but sometimes it's just gaining some type of ability or self-awareness of our ability. Right? And what this friend brought up is the power or the ability to stick to the Lord no matter how difficult it gets. And I looked at it and said, yeah, sometimes we think we have nothing to offer, but then after this year, we can see that we do have something that is worth more than anything we can give to the Lord. And it's knowing that we will always be there no matter how crazy or difficult it gets. And I think that is one of the greatest abilities or greatest things that we can give to someone else. Right? So think about your friends too. When you have friends, one of the greatest things they can do is stick by your side in the most difficult times. Right? And I think some of us, if we really think about it, we should realize that we do have something that God wants more than anything else, is this love, this unfailing love that no matter what happens, we're going to be there by the Lord's side. Right? Because when you look at the people that left this year, like, they did some great things. And then they left. But who is greater, the one that did great things and left, or the one that sticks to the Lord no matter how difficult it really got, right? And sometimes, a lot of times we need to know if there is that person there that's going to be there for us, right? So when I thought about that, I was like, that's a very, very interesting point. And I thought it was a very insightful way of looking at, wow, yeah, this is something that we can really look at and say, yeah, that is a great blessing that we've received, right? So when I was looking at that, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just to let you guys know, like I said, I am feeling a little bit under the weather, so today's podcast might be a little bit shorter, right? Because I am going to get some rest and stuff like that too, and hopefully you guys can pray for me also. And today, during the Sermons in the Sky, I will be doing a prayer for the people that are sick, because I'm sick and I realize the shimjung of those that are sick right now, especially at the end of the year, and how much we want to end the year really well. But I do want to pray for all the people that are sick. So I think I'm going to do that for everyone in the last section for today's podcast. Oh, today we do have a brand new song by Dr. Ziny over there in Canada. So I will the song is called I Will Never Leave You, and I'm going to play the intro from Dr. Ziny for you guys right now.
I Will Never Leave You is a really meaningful song to me. I started writing this song about a year ago, and I think it took so long because I almost cried. Like, so many times I almost cried when trying to record this song. I don't think Ziny will ever get to hear this song. Like, that's the reality. But even if that's the case, I just wanted to give him strength by telling him this. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. This is one life you don't have to worry about. I'm going to stay strong for you, for God, for Providence, for God's history and will. And I owe it to you to do at least that. The song starts off as, I promise to be strong. It's because actually I felt quite the opposite, right? I felt the opposite of strong. There were so many times in the past year I questioned myself, can I stay strong through this? And I'm not even in those countries where members were so affected and tormented. We're kind of far removed from there, right? But even then, even though we were so far away from the situation, I still felt vulnerable and shaken at times, especially at the beginning when the news was first starting to break out and I didn't know what was going on. It's like, what? Pastor Joan said, what? Pastor Joan said, what? But she's so close to him. So does that mean she saw or knows about something that we don't know about? And I started to have doubts. I started to have questions. I started to be questioning, like, am I in the right place? But very quickly, right, upon deep reflection, upon prayer, upon Holy Spirit's inspiration, I confirmed, right? I've confirmed the following. I confirmed nobody can take away what I've seen and experienced through Ziny, through Providence. I've seen the Holy Trinity and heard God's words through him. I've felt God through him. I've experienced miracles and felt God's presence like I've never felt before through him. I can't deny these things, right? All the stories I've shared with the Holy Trinity since being in Providence, nobody can take that away from me. This is the truth, and no one can say anything or do anything that will change that. And when he was wrongfully accused, I remember something he said that was delivered by Pastor Gabe to us that day that really touched me, right? He was being investigated and being questioned, and he was not allowed any freedom. But he still said, he basically told us, don't worry about him. Told us not to worry about him. Don't cry for him. Don't worry about him. Just worry about ourselves. Just do our best to keep our own faith strong. Pray for ourselves. Take care of ourselves. Take care of each other. Have peace and harmony with each other. Love each other. It just speaks to how selfless Ziny really is. And it speaks to his character. And it confirmed to me again, he's not just a normal person. He really cares about God. He loves God perfectly, right? Even if he's not a perfect, he's human, right? He'll do things that aren't perfect, but he loves God perfectly, and that's why it's perfect. But even when he was in that type of situation, facing that amount of adversity, and people forming all sorts of judgments and opinion about him without proper knowledge, and members are being tormented, and there's this potentially devastating outcome that he was going to face with the verdict of this trial, he still only cared about us, our well-being, our faith. And he didn't want God to lose any lives. He cared about God's history. He didn't want people to lose their salvation or go in the wrong path or direction. He just cared very deeply for the bigger picture, which was God and God's will. So I just wanted to comfort him because he's always sacrificing for us, praying for us, putting his blood, sweat, and tears and his life on the line to deliver the precious word of God to us, sacrificing for us all the time. And I just wanted we to comfort him and tell him, we're not leaving. Don't you worry about us. I will never leave you, and I will cling even stronger onto you in the Holy Trinity in Jesus. So that's the backstory behind this song. I will never leave you.
To live with God in my heart. The tears you shed pray all night long. Your love and light at the break of dawn. The days when you were gone. Your words stay here in my heart. I'll hold on to you tightly, Lord. Your word is your love, I'm not alone. Now even if this dark world is frightening, wind and waves and thunders crashing, no matter what, our love will not change. You're with me and I'm with you. I will always, always love you, no matter if the world forsakes you. From all the love and miracles through you, I've witnessed the truth. I'll fly high with you. I will never, never leave you, no matter if the world forsakes you. With all the love and be strong, to live with God in my heart. I will not waver to wrong thoughts. I'll stay right here where I belong. You suffered all along. Your wounds lie deep in my heart. We'll guard you, Lord, till your pain's gone. We'll comfort you, so lie in our arms. Now even if this dark world is frightening, wind and waves and thunders crashing, no matter what, our love will not change. You're with me and I'm with you. I will always, always love you, no matter if the world forsakes you. Your love for God burns so brightly. Rise out of ashes, your light will set me free. I'll never leave you, no matter if the world forsakes you. With all the love and blessings from you, I'll never forget all that you've done for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ziny, for another wonderful and amazing song. It's really inspiring and moving, too. If you have anything you want to comment for this song, I Will Never Leave You, go ahead and leave it in the comments below for Dr. Ziny. She's just doing, I don't understand how she could do all this. She has a newborn baby. Well, not newborn anymore, but it's still a baby, right? She has a baby. She's a doctor, and she's also doing keuji, and she does everything. So I'm looking at her, I'm like, wow, she is seriously doing so many amazing things. And for her to fit all this time in to do this and give glory to God, I think it's really amazing and a great way that we're able to end the year and for her to give glory before this 2023 is over. Right? So with that in mind, let's get into today's word study, which is Q&A Thursday. And today's is quite interesting. It's just one question, but I think it's a very, very big question that some people do ask when it comes to friends and family that know the situation that we're in right now with Providence and Sunseem's trial. Okay, so the question is, now that the first trial is over and we have reached the sentencing of 23 years, how can I help my family understand the situation without seeming like I am brainwashed into this church? Okay, so this is a very, very interesting question. And I would say there's probably like 3 or 4 things that I would keep in mind. And remember, there's no like cookie cutter way to do it like every single time. There's no cookie cutter way like you have to do it like this every time. But I think there's just some things we need to keep in mind when it comes to these types like sensitive situations, right? So what can we do? And first and foremost, I would say is pray, right? Now, what does that mean? That sounds way too general, right? It sounds like someone who doesn't know the answer, right? Like, when your leaders always say, just pray kind of thing, right? There's a one, be like Jacob. Remember Jacob and Esau? After he went to his uncle Laban's house, and then he went to go meet Esau again. Esau brings like 400 of his men, so he's going to kill Jacob, right? But Jacob prayed all night until he was blessed by God before meeting his family. So Esau, who came to kill him, instead, after the prayer being blessed by God, the situation seemed impossible, but the pleading and wrestling with God allowed Jacob to be blessed, and Esau received Jacob in peace. Right? So first and foremost, let's not underestimate or not forget the spiritual aspect that we're dealing with first. Right? Pray the prayer of Jacob wrestling with God. And because Jacob wrestled with God, his name got changed to Israel, which means to wrestle with God, which is a very, very interesting meaning for the name of Israel, right? So there's number one is let's pray. Like first, pray for the situation. Pray that when you guys do have that talk, you handle it really well. The second thing that I would do as a principle, not so much of do this, it's more of prepare your heart. Prepare your heart meaning you have to kind of manage your expectations. You got to recognize that no matter how much we try to explain or help our families understand, they won't be able to fully comprehend the situation like we do, because we're looking at it from the perspective of the history of God, the man of mission who has been sent. They're not looking at it from that perspective. They're looking at it from the perspective of, this is my brother, this is my sister, my child. They're looking at you as someone that they love so much, but they see us in such a difficult situation, which makes it more emotional for them. And guess what's going to happen? Even when we do explain the situation well, like I said, manage your expectations. Don't expect them to fully understand everything. And if we keep this in mind, then we can easily move to some things we can do to help the situation easier, right? Because the moment, we have like a high expectation, like, oh, they're going to receive me fully. They love me so much. So everything's going to be fine. Like, we have to manage ourselves really well, because if they don't accept us, then we could become very emotional, and then the conversation gets ruined, right? But understanding this will help us calm our expectations and be ready to accept whatever situation that comes up, okay? Now, once you have those two things ready, I think the third thing is where you actually have real preparation. And I would say prepare your words, prepare your facts, right? So don't go in blind, but prepare what you really want to say, right? Even anticipate the questions in advance, right? Get your facts straight. Like, let me give you an example. When it comes to the Netflix audio, right? Now, why is this so important? Like, I would set this up as almost like a lecture. I would tell them, like, what I would do is like, all right, yeah, I understand what it looks like, and I understand how you must be very worried. The first thing I want to tell you about is the audio that you hear in Netflix. Okay, now there's only 4 types of credible evidence in a sexual assault case. It's photos, video, DNA, and audio. Right? So then they're going to be like, oh, okay. So, and then we tell them, yeah, the Netflix audio is one of the 4. So it's very, very important evidence. Like, this is something that they can base the entire trial on, right? It's the only credible evidence that they have. Everything else is just hearsay, which means, let me get into the forensics of the Netflix audio. The forensics of the audio showed it was manipulated and fake. But the interesting thing is, it's still being taken into consideration in the trial. Now, one of the reasons is Korean trials or Korean court system only accepts national forensics results, right? We have already sent it into Musin, and you guys could, you can tell them to go look it up, but it's a very big American third party forensics that is used in trials in America too, right? So then I would say that, yeah, they already found it to be completely manipulated and it's wrong. It's edited, right? So then I would say you got to understand how terrible it is that they released it first with Netflix. And then the people released Netflix with that audio that is fake, knowingly knowing it's fake. Even before the trial finished, this Netflix came out in the middle of the trial. And obviously it garnered terrible public opinion against Ziny, right? So do you kind of see what I'm doing? First, I'm telling them like, hey, this audio is very important. It's really important. This is like the key evidence that they have. And this was also seen in the Netflix documentary, right? So I'm building it up like this is so big. So when they hear there's an audio, they're going to be like, oh, so they have key evidence. And then I can go into, yes, but it's fake. Right? So we look at the number one evidence that matters the most, and I tell them straight up, it's fake, right? Then, another thing you could talk about is the bias of the judge, right? And one of the things we always talk about is the same judge is doing both cases of KJS and Ziny, right? But KJS was sentenced for helping Ziny commit a crime that his trial wasn't even finished for, right? And that's why the big conundrum would be, in the event Ziny is innocent, then shouldn't KJS be taken out too? Or actually, it would be like, you shouldn't even start the case until you find out exactly if Ziny guilty or innocent, right? So that's something that it's very, very important that we have to think about too, right? That there is a bias with the judge, right? It means that the judge already decided whether Ziny was guilty or not, and then sentenced KJS, in mind thinking, yeah, this guy's guilty. right? And I would also talk about like several organizations in the world that have stood up for us. Like some pastors from the Methodist Church came to support us in the protests. There is a nonprofit organization, associations that are supporting us, Vietnam War Veterans Association that are supporting us too. So it's not just us. There are people in the world that recognize the corruption there is, right? And that's me preparing my facts, preparing myself so that I can say the right things. Okay. Now, there's one thing I would try to avoid, and is basing your final thoughts on the outcome of the trial. Because I know that some people made that mistake in the past. Is like, don't make any promises you don't mean. What does that mean? Like, some people say that, oh, just wait till the end of the trial, then we'll see, right? Like, that means they're really thinking that Sunsee's going to be found innocent, right? So they're going to say like, oh, just wait till the appeal is over. Oh, just wait till the Supreme Court is done, right? So they're basing it on the result of the trial, which doesn't make any sense coming from a religious history point of view. So if you look all throughout religious history, the people of God have been tried and convicted of crimes that were false or untrue, like Jesus, like Joseph, right? And we can't base it on human or worldly judgment. In the end, we always base it on God's judgment. And it's something that we do all the time, right? Even for us. Even when wickedness goes on in the world, we don't just say, well, they didn't go to jail, so they're okay. No, we're going to be like, as people of God, we're like, hey, in the end, God is the final judge. So we'll let God judge these people according to what they have done. We say it all the time, let God judge according to what they have done. Yeah, the world might let them go free, but God's not going to let this go. So we already have that mentality or that principle in mind, is like, yeah, the world can think one way, but what matters most to us is what God thinks, right? So that's why I would avoid doing like promises based on the result of a trial. I think that's going to be something that we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how corrupt the system is. We already seen how corrupt the system was from the first trial, right? The last one I would say is, stand your ground. Don't be wishy-washy in your responses, like you are uncertain or you're shaking, but be confident. Be confident in your responses. Be strong in your decision. Remember, people can say and do whatever they want. They can think whatever they want too. But you also have to realize is you don't have to have the approval of your family in order for you to feel self-worth or that you mean anything, right? Be confident, be courageous in your responses, and do it wisely according to your situation and circumstance, right? The confidence, just make sure you have confidence and courage in your response, right? And of course, always my last thing I tell people is just don't get emotional. Yeah, your family will say things that may hurt you. And the best thing to do is not to react. Just know that they will say things because they love you. Yes, it's just the way humans are. Sometimes we do or say things in love, but it is not expressed properly or right? So we really have to control our hearts and thoughts. Listen to what your family says completely. Don't butt in. Don't get upset or angry. Be considerate of their situation and what it looks like from their perspective, right? Respect their opinions and thoughts. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but at least respect it. And in the end, you have to realize this is your life and your decisions that you make, and they don't make those decisions for you. But yeah, you don't want to get into like an emotional war because no one wins. The moment both sides get emotional, it's no longer about facts. It's no longer about reason. It's just about emotion, right? You don't want to get there. So make sure you stand your ground. Don't be wishy-washy in your responses. Be clear. Be confident, right? And those are like probably the 5 things that I would definitely do to help someone in that situation. What were the 5 things? Number 1, be like Jacob before he met his family Esau, and he prayed and wrestled with God to get the blessing. So pray. Second thing is prepare your heart, knowing that, they're not going to understand our situation fully because they don't believe they don't know or understand that we're in the history of God. They just don't know, right? So that's something that we have to realize, understand too. They're not going to understand us fully. So don't have these expectations that all of a sudden you're going to evangelize them from this one conversation or that they're going to understand everything. Sometimes they're not going to understand it, right? 3, prepare your words. Don't go in blind. Prepare what you really want to say. Anticipate the questions in advance. Get your facts straight, right? 4, don't make any promises you don't mean. Like, don't say, oh, you'll see at the end of the trial. At the end of the trial, you're going to see what's really going to happen because, this is a worldly trial. And worldly trials and people can be corrupt or they can make mistakes. In the end, it's all about what God says. So don't make these promises or say, yeah, I'll stop going to this church if he becomes guilty. Like, don't do that type of stuff. You're just in for more difficulty. And then, of course, the last one is stand your ground. Don't be wishy-washy. Be confident. Be courageous in your responses. Oh, and the number 6 is don't get emotional. Right? Don't get emotional. And those would be the 6 things that I would give as my advice for people out there that are going through this type of situation with their families and friends. Okay? So yeah, this is the end of the Q&A portion. Yes, it's a little bit short, but also, guys, like I said, I'm a little bit sick. I'm under the weather right now. So I do want to quickly go to sleep, but I do also not want to miss this podcast also. I think I do sound like I have a sore throat, but my nose, both of my noses, I put tissue in my nose because they're both running. But yeah, I am going to end it a little bit early today. But before we get into the sermons in the sky, which I'm just going to be praying for the people that are sick. So if you are sick, I would love for you guys to, you guys can listen to that prayer at the very end of today's podcast. Okay? So let's go into the second break of the day.
2023. We've all come a long way. Many different stories, but we're all on the same journey. Many, many ups and downs, but we're all still around. Many, many, many lessons, but each one came with a blessing. Let's not forget for when we come from when we make this confession. Some people just want to watch the world burn. As for you and I, let's set ourselves on fire, shine a light so bright that will make the people say, burning life, Look at the flames in my eyes, watch it burn, but don't stare too long, you might lose your sight. Some people gunning for a downfall, but they'll never see our demise. Burning life, who's the one? I'm the one, he's the one. Are you the one? No, we're the ones who keep the fire going till the day we die, till they see the light, make it bright, till we hear the people say, born sinner, never could be ill. I know I'm back from the dead, yeah, the Lord is my healer. I took the red pill, that's why I call him teacher. When you learn about the spirit, oh, there ain't nothing real. The one you learn from determines your entire destiny. Learn from the one who taught about eternity. Cloud craving, paper chasing, the joy is only temporary. I don't wanna do the same thing, so I hard to count the vanity. I keep my eyes on the prize. I'll never sell my soul to the devil in disguise. With both hands on each side, I'm holding on to dear life. I keep my guard up, never back down. When it goes down, I call on the Christ. Spiritual battle, answer the call. It's Call of Duty, modern warfare, put the armor of God. They're fighting Lucy with a rock. I got atomic bombs, love the Lord your God and all your brothers once the demons fall. Don't be deceived, know who the ops is. Keep the unity and peace, go far way across this. Came to preach the word of God like I'm born in Tarsus. Here to testify the things I've seen on road to Damascus. He's the real deal, the real thing, be glad you heard the King's speech. Blessed are those who reach the end and get to hear the Lord speak. GODs, POC, we fulfilled everything. Burning life, kerosene, burning life, legacy.
You will never see me stop in the future. The life that fulfills God's will continue. Everyone thinks I'm unfortunate because I go through suffering. But inside of me it's different. Because I walk the path of eternal life.
Burning life, Look at the flames in my eyes, watch it burn, but don't stare too long, you might lose your sight. Some people gunning for a downfall, but they'll never see our demise. Burning life, who's the one? I'm the one, he's the one. Are you the one? No, we're the ones who keep the fire going till the day we die, till they see the light, make it bright, till we hear the people say,
like Mary poured out her perfume on Jesus' feet, I must pour out my heart, mind, and love on the one who saved me.
Okay, so let's get into our final segment for today. And today, a little bit different for the sermons in the sky. Because I am feeling a little bit under the weather, I have a little bit of a headache and my nose is running and my throat is a little bit sore. I want to do a prayer for a lot of the people out there because I know that one of the worst things we can go through is when we're sick, right? And I think it's something where, because I'm going through sickness, and and we all want to end the year well, but it really sucks if that we're ending the year while we're sick. And I just wanted to make sure that I know that there's going to be other people out there that are sick, that might have a flu or cold. I know in Korea it's snowing, so some people could catch a cold too. So, and especially the past few weeks' messages, Sunseem said that he experienced it first so that he can save others. So I was thinking to myself, is like, here I am experiencing sickness, and I realize how miserable this feeling truly is. And I wanted to make sure that everyone out there who needed it received prayer before this year is over and we can end the year really, really well. So let me pray for all those that are sick out there. Almighty God, Holy Spirit, Holy Son, Lord, Jesus, and the man and mission of this time period. We've come to this juncture where it's 3 days left before the end of the year. And as it is the last prophecy in the Bible, 2023, and that the blessings will flow by the end of this year, we've all made it. And you've told us we've done such a great job because we are still here. But one thing I'm noticing right now for myself is I am getting a little bit sick. And I can feel it in my throat, my head, my nose. And after looking at Sunseem's message, Sunseem tells us that you put him through all those things, that suffering, so that he can help and save others that need it. And I really pray at this time, especially, bless all those out there who are in this history, who are listening to this podcast, who are sick, who are going through some difficult times, who may be going through some mental difficulties too. Whether we're sick in our spirit, sick in our mental health, or sick in our bodies, we really and truly just lift up all these people who are going through this to you, God. We leave all our sufferings. We leave all the sicknesses and diseases at your feet. And we really, really, God, want to become those that could be even greater in this history for 2024, that we can start the 15 days of giving glory to God, not in sickness, but we can start it, God, in health. We can start it by giving glory. We can start it, God, by doing things in our everyday lives. I really pray, God, as we suffer and go through difficulties, let us not just end the suffering in our own hearts and minds, but realize there are so many people out there that are suffering the same things. I pray, God, if there's someone who's sick, that you will heal them, that you, Holy Spirit, will put your hand of healing on their hearts, on their bodies, on their heads, on their throats. Even if there's cancers and illnesses that we have not even seen, I really pray, God, that you will bless them with your healing at the end of this year. Let this be a time all of us realize. Let this be a time, God, that we will not look to anyone else. But let this be a time that even in our suffering, in the midst of our suffering, just like our beloved Sunseem at this time, let us give thanksgiving. Let us confess how much we truly love you. God, we go through difficulties, but we can confidently say we love you. We truly, truly love you with all of our hearts. And I pray, God, that you will guide us and lead us completely. Let us never turn away, but let us look only towards you. I pray, God, that if anyone is sick out there receiving this prayer, let them not end at just receiving a prayer, but let them also pray for others that are sick too, so that we can start a chain of prayers for everyone that is sick in the world of this history, that we can all end the year really well too. Thank you, God, for all the 362 days that you've given to us. It's really amazing, God. We have 3 days left. Let us rest well, let us heal well, and let us give glory with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. We thank you so much for all that you've done. Bless us in all that we do. And we pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. All right, guys. So that is the prayer that I really wanted to give for all those that are sick out there. But let's pay it forward. If you're sick and receive this prayer, go ahead and pray for those that are others that are sick too. Okay. I hope you guys have an amazing and awesome Thursday. If you have any other questions or anything else, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you guys think about, or comment on any of the sections of today's podcast. Have an amazing and awesome day, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and feel your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know. I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm